Well, hi there. This is Jim here, friendly neighborhood beekeeper. So I was going to do a split today so that I can have 5 hives, but for weeks I haven't seen any bees going into my baited nukes, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of them in the baited nukes. So I'm set up for 5 hives right now. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I've got all the gear, the observational panels. So I'll show that in a minute. Um, so when I'm ready to catch a swarm, before I catch the swarm, I try to keep 2 setups ready. They're empty. It's all ready to go. They're just waiting for some bees. I try to keep 2 at any given time. I'm talking all the whole gear, right? Observational panel, the bottom screen board, the cover, the frames, the hive. And so I try to keep 2 ready at all times. And if I get 3, well, they're just going to have to go in one of the baited nukes until I can build another one. So right now I've got 4 hives out. Yeah. And there's another one in the front. And so there is bees today for the first time in weeks going into my baited nukes. And so and that's what we want to watch for. So you folks who want to catch your own bees, it's always best to catch them locally, because most likely those bees have survived whatever variant of diseases that bees get in that area, because different locations have different variations of different diseases. One COVID doesn't equal all COVIDs. One could be benign, not even give you a sniffle, but a slight variant, right, with different spike proteins, you're on your deathbed. And that's just virology, right? And so and that's what killed the Inca, all the Mayans, and when the Spanish came down with all their measles and chickenpox, and yeah, they died by the millions, right? No immunity. Same thing. So it's best if you can get your bees right where you live, right? If at all possible. Now, of course, sometimes there's no bees in our area. Can't catch them because there's nothing to catch. And that's the way it was for me for 10, 12 years. There was no bees. I had never seen any bees in my area for like 10 years until around the 1st of July, and it was only scragglers. They probably ran out of food far away, because they'll fly up to 2 miles to get food. And in a dearth where there's just not much food for them, yeah, they're going to go that 2 mile if they have to. And so, so here's what's happening today. Now, I've noticed that when these bees over here run out of food, they start to buzz me. So I keep this handy to keep them out of my face. And when I feed them, a couple minutes later, they stop buzzing me. They'll even come into my garage when they run out of food here. They'll come in my garage and start doing the Indian circle. I'm the wagons. And so then I'll come out and feed them, and then that goes away. So, but I just don't like them in my face. All it takes is, they're buzzing around my face. All it takes is a gust of wind, right into my eyelashes or something, my bat. Their instinct is to sting immediately, milliseconds. And so, yeah, got to be careful. It's that wind that gets me. So, unexpected gusts. And so here's what they look like today. That's the split. I did that split on the April 1st. They're doing really well. I wasn't sure I had the queen in there for quite some time, but the hive is starting to get pretty big, and the last time I went in there was about a week ago, and I seen new cap broods. So the only way you can get that is if you have a queen, and they're not drones. They were worker bee caps, and there is drones coming out. So there was like a little mixture of cap drones last week and regular worker bees in there capped. So there is a queen in there, and they're doing really good. So what I did is I just took that American box, brood box. It was up there with the yellow flower one. I took that down, put it right there, and voila, division. And that's my original hive there. I was gonna split that. I was gonna take that one with the yellow flowers and put it over there with the blue and yellow flowers over there. The blue box with the yellow flowers. I was gonna put it there, but today I started seeing bees like up in that box right there. You can see them going in that box. And I haven't seen that for weeks. So I thought, what the heck? And that's the swarm I caught the middle of last month, and they're doing really good. I gave them some. I gave them a frame full of honey when I put them in there, and then I fed them 2 jars a day or more of sugar syrup for about a month, and so they've got a lot of resources, and they're really happy. A lot of resources. I took that super, it was up there with that hive, so I took that super and that box and I put it right here when I did the split. So, and that's full of honey right there. And I left my original hive with no food. And man, they got so aggressive with me. They were so angry. Oh my gosh, they followed me all over. Front yard. I took their food, right? Did you take our food? So they didn't leave me alone for a week. They just buzzed the heck out of me no matter where I was on my property. So I started open feeding them, and it took about a week for them to build up enough food back in there that was supportive, enough supportive food to feed that large colony in there before they stopped buzzing me around the property. Now they only buzz me when they run out of food in their tray. They come and get me. Hey, Jim, we're out of food. So I come and feed them, then it just stops cold turkey. Takes a couple minutes, and then no more buzzing me. And so, yeah, but I keep this handy. I start getting buzzed. Sudden wind comes along, boom, that's all it takes. Bat the eyelashes, they feel that hairs, instinctively they sting immediately. You don't even have a chance to swipe them. They'll sting faster than you can move your arm. Even if you were to Flash, I think Flash would have a hard time getting it in time. So if there was a Flash. So you can see the trays, you can see my feeding trays. I think they're all gone. I think they've eaten it all up. Yeah, you girls just nicked that dry. Oh my gosh. So they're going to be on their 5th jar today. So I just fill those jars, and they're right as rain. Right? No buzzing. But it's like about an hour goes by. If they've been out without a food for about an hour, they'll come and find me. And then after few minutes after feeding them, I can go anywhere I want, and there's no more come and feed me. It was so strange. About 4 days ago, 5. Because what I do is I'll typically talk to them before I open my jar. I'll walk up, start talking to them, and then I'll open up my jar and start feeding them, and I'm talking to them. And about 4 days ago, I was talking to them. Hundreds came out all at the same time. Just run into those little trays. Now, did they hear my voice and relate it to food? At that moment, I was just witnessing what I was witnessing. That's all we can talk. That's all we can say, right? We witnessed something. Oh, I saw this flying elephant, and it just took off into the trees. Did anybody else see it? No. I got abducted by an alien. Oh my gosh, they did this and that and this and that. Well, did you bring anything back with you to prove that? No. Wow, really? Dream, 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 dream. Right? Some dreams seem so real. We're convinced that what we witnessed in that dream was physical, and it really happened. But it's just a dream. Right? Consciousness is a weird thing. There's lots of medium parts, like lots of different variations. You can be in a deep sleep, no dream. I mean, the deepest is, right? You're not going to remember any dreams. But there's a lot of stages in between total unconsciousness when we're sleeping and full consciousness. And there's things that happen, and different layers, different things can happen. And to us, it seems real. Consciousness, yeah. Even when we're unconscious, we have a sense of consciousness. Kind of weird. But that's neuroscience in the mind. So I'm probably going to just because I was going to make a video about me splitting this hive, but but I think I'm going to make a video of catching the swarm because they're really active, and that's the same doggone hive box, same nuke box that I caught the other 2 swarms in. In fact, all the bees that I have right now, all the hives that I have right now, came from that box in that tree at different times, and it's looking like. It looks like they're going to gear up. So tonight, what I'll do is I'll fill that with some frames, a little bit of comb in it. Tomorrow maybe they'll be in it to win it. And I'm not going to wait for a week this time to bring it down. I'm going to take it down and put it where that blue box is with the yellow flowers. I'm just going to take that right down and set it right on top of that hive, and let them get used to that landing in that area. And then after a week, after her wings shrink and she starts laying in that baited nuke up there, then I'll just transfer it right in the same spot. They don't have to reorientate for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, right? So yeah, so I got I got trap doors on all my baited nukes. Every baited nuke, except for that ugly one over there, I installed trap doors so I can trap them in there and pretty quick with a flick of a finger and move those puppies wherever I want. Puppies? Woof woof. And so there you go. I guess I won't be making a video of that. Now I've got a bunch of blackberry flowers and they're all up in there. Well, they're just starting to open, so I guess once they start to really open up and let loose that nectar odor, that'll really start being packed with bees like it was last year. And I've got my raspberries that are opening and lots of other things that I let go to flower. I let my kale go to flower, my Brussels sprouts, my spinach. Of course, I didn't notice any flowers on my spinach. I don't think they have flowers. If they did, I missed it. Yeah, lots of things. I let lots of things go to flower. I used to just kind of, take what I wanted, and when it started to get that stem for seeding, I would clip it, and then it would actually grow back again and new stuff at the bottom. But now I just let it all go to flower, and that garden over there is full of bees right now because I let it all go to flower, my whole garden. Not only that, when I let them go to seed, and I can pick what I want, even as it's going to seed or gone to seed. And next year, it all grows back right in that same spot. The seeds just drop down. Oh, they're doing such intense inspections on that box. They are circling underneath, around, on top. That's typical what happens too. They're looking for cracks, crevices, bugs that are there, maybe spider webs. Yeah, it's important to really keep to catch a swarm. We really inspect the inside of that hive every day. So tonight, dark time, I'm going to take it down and I'm going to inspect it. I'm going to add some frames with some honeycomb in it and a couple of empty frames. Oh yeah, they're getting heavy in there now. Shoot, they might. No, it's too late. They won't swarm in there right now. But there's more and more going. More and more. That's where they're going to go. I can tell. I got one in the garage there. I got one. Yep, there's some there. I got a hive, a full brood box sticking out of the window of the garage over there. I'll show it if I remember. And yeah, they're all up in that one too. And I've got one in the cherry tree. They're up in that one today. It's been weeks. I was starting to think maybe I wasn't going to catch any more swarms, because I was starting to get a little bit later in the season. But this is about the time I caught this swarm that I got over in my original hive here. This is about the time I caught them last year, around the middle of May. About the month of May, I got sunshine on a sunny day, and it's warm outside. Oh yeah, I look forward to catching the other hive. So I'm probably going to settle in. Now, of course, you've all got to go by our location, right? I'm probably going to settle in with about 6 hives. So if I can go in with to fall with six, oh, getting more active by the minute. If I can settle in with 6 hives, hives going into late fall, I think I'll probably stop there. I mean, I've got room to probably have 100 hives. Just pack them all along the perimeter, just in the middle, you know. But that's just too much. It's really expensive actually to maintain hives, multiple mini hives, unless you're making money from it, like selling honey or something to support the hobby. Because when they go into the dearth, when there's nothing for them to eat, they'll just die of starvation. And that's when we need to step in as beekeepers and feed the bees. Just the other day, I spent like $38 on a 50-pound bag of sugar. Right? And this hive over here, my original one, they are just hogs. They will drink a gallon or more a day, easy, because I took their super that was packed with their food, and I left them with nothing. And so I was feeding them every day so they can replenish their stock. And so now I think they're actually getting ready to do a split themselves. So I'm thinking that my main hive already split, and that's the swarm I caught. I'm thinking they're getting ready to split again, and that's what I'm seeing. I think all these are my bees. I was going to do that. I was going to make queen cells, you know, and make them. But shoot, you know, man, I just do it the easy way. Let nature take its course and let them do their own splits. But we need to know how to set up the environment, set up the situation for them to do that. My original hive here, it was packed so tight with bees. Every single frame, all 10 frames were packed all the way to the end, from the center to the end. And so I think, and so that's why I did a split. And 2 weeks later, that wasn't enough. Even though I put an empty brood box in there, it was still heavily packed. I put an empty brood box in the original hive, and I packed it with frames, and apparently it still wasn't enough. And so I'm thinking that's them getting ready to do this split, right? So like 3 splits from one hive, which is kind of common. If you have a really healthy hive, which is what mine was. I kept it really healthy through the winter. I fed them through the winter when they ran out of food. They were getting plenty of protein throughout the winter. Also, sugar and protein are 2 different feeding sources. So you got, when they're collecting stuff from flowers, you got the nectar, which is the sugar, which is the energy. And then you got the heavier nutrients. You got the nutrient stuff, which is the pollen. That's where the protein and stuff that gives them that girth and, you know, the real growth energy. And so to feed the larvae and the queen and make royal jelly, you got to have that protein. They need that protein. And so, all right, I guess I'm just going to hold off. And yeah, they're inspecting. Okay, inspecting the other one too. So they're inspecting 2 over there. They're inspecting the one out hanging out of the window about 1 inch, and then there's another one by the house door. They're inspecting that one. They're inspecting the one in the cherry tree, and that's what you folks want who want to catch a swarm. That's what you want to do. Now you can take a cardboard box, get some lemongrass oil. Maybe stack one cardboard box inside of another somehow, or tape some, or glue some more cardboard together so you get thick cardboard box, so it's really sturdy and thick and insulating, and make multiple of one of those just to catch your swarm in, and make a number of those and put them in strategic places. Right, pretty much free. Right. Amazon boxes, whatever cardboard boxes you can find, come up with. You don't have to make a hive. So, but it's important to eventually put them in a hive. So, all my hives I built from scrap wood that I had laying around for over years from old projects. I'm going to use that someday. I'm going I got so much stuff I'm going to use someday. But I do use it. And it's surprising how frequently I use this stuff. Because what I'll do is I'll use it for one project, and then when that project's done and that served its purpose, I'll store it and then repurpose it for a different kind of project. Cut it, shape it, reform it for whatever project I need down the road different. And that's how I roll on when it comes to that. And that way it's cheaper, right? I don't buy anything. I buy lemongrass oil. I generally don't buy anything. Yeah, even those caster wheels. I had some old caster wheels from an old dining set that I had, and they were falling apart. So I kept the casters, and now I use them on my gates underneath there, and then my gates roll. Right? That's just an example of repurposing things that we never imagined that we can repurpose them for. So I keep everything categorized in my garage and in my sheds and other places, so that I don't have to dig all over the place. Homie don't play that no more. Used to, until I learned my lesson. So yeah, I'm thinking these girls getting ready to spit again. That is staying active up there. Yeah, I think I just seen it go from up there to right there. I'm thinking so. Anyway, all right, please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a comment, click the like, all that silly stuff. I wish they would change that routine so much. It's like, if they just made it so that you just got credit for what you watched, or who people, if somebody watched this, whatever, they got credit for their work, and that's what they get credit for. And when they get a certain amount of hours watched, then they get paid for all those hours that somebody watched their content. That is more fair, and that way you wouldn't need to be hearing all these people screaming, please subscribe, please thumbs up, please like, please leave a comment, right? The same stuff over and over. Some things work good at one time, but sometimes it's best to change it up so it works better for everybody. Right? Somebody watches your content, right? You get credit for it. Down the road, you get enough watched hours, you get credit for that. You get paid for your work, for your time, right? To have it to where, say for example, if I've got 50,000 credit hours, but I don't have enough subscribers yet, which is 1,000, because I'm kind of new still. People don't know me. All those thousands of hours, watch time, I got nothing for that. But YouTube got it all. They got all the money from the commercials. No. And so, yeah, it's like we're working for the slave, right? We're the slave, and YouTube's the master. No, it needs to be more just. It needs to be more fair. You plant something, and somebody reaps the rewards from that, you should get something from that. That's just. That's righteous. That's fair. That's honest. Right? Yeah. Common sense, right? Treat others as the way you want to be treated. YouTube ain't doing that, as far as I'm concerned. And so, that's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm removing lots of cobwebs. I saw a spider come out of this one over here. So a bee kind of got close to the corner over here, and a spider jumped at it. It didn't have a web yet, but it jumped at my bee. And then I came out and seen one hanging from a web. So I tore all that web down. Yeah, if I let them, the spiders would build a big web around this whole cove. They've tried. I've come out and with just webs starting at all different angles. They're working as a team, like a pack of wolves. Do spiders do that? I don't know. I've seen a lot of them clustered though, close together, as if they were working as a pack of wolves. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go grab another jar of food and feed them. I want them to have plenty of food in there, so if it's them getting ready to divide, I want them to fill their gills with plenty of cone making material. That's right, their gills. They have these little slits, 3 of them on each side, and that'll fill up with some wax. And so when they go to do a divide, they try to make sure that that's already packed tight. They've already made it plenty. They got plenty of reserves in their gut, in their sugar sack, in their honey sack, in their wherever they can store whatever. And then they swarm out. And they quickly start building comb for the queen to start laying eggs, for them to start storing nectar, honey, pollen, protein. Yeah. They leave with as much resources as possible based on what's in there. So I'm trying to make sure that there's plenty of resources in here in case that's them wanting to split, that hive will still have plenty. That's why I've been feeding them so heavy the last month. Oh, it's a hummingbird. You eating my bees? What is this hummingbird? Are you a cutie? It's green. Green hummingbird. I don't know what it's after. I've had hummingbirds come and mate right here in front of me. Start mating. Trying to mate. Getting each other's attention. Yeah, it's great. Right here. I've had them go right by my ears. Hummingbirds. I've had them come and just buzz me right here and just stare at me. Well, actually over here. Well, yeah, actually both places. I mean, one at a time. Just stand outside. I'm like, don't you dare. I'm thinking like, don't you poke me in the eye with that thing. Just for the longest time, just buzz there and stare at me. Probably tell me to give it some honey. I mean, some sugar or water or something. Feed me. You're a human. You can do that. You got hands. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I've got my walnut trees, hazelnut trees coming up pretty good, growing pretty good. I clipped down a bunch of these mints. I've got spearmint, peppermint, lemon balm, a couple other different ones, chocolate mint, some other variations. So I've been picking the heck out of those, drying them and breaking them down. That's where I got stung a few weeks back. There were bees they were taller then. They were really tall. And I came out and just started picking them, and there was bees in there. Like, what the heck are you girls doing there? I just kept picking them, packing them in my left hand, clipping them, packing them in my left hand. And I got a girl that must have gotten pinched in between when I was packing them. Well, she flew out and stung me on the black part of my sleeve immediately. I had one of these slip-ons like this, but it had a black spot. She stung that black spot, came out of there and stung it before I can even respond. She did it that quick. Went and iced it for 30 minutes. That was fine. Yeah, that one was one of the least painful experiences of a bee sting. Yeah, there was really mild response after that. Just a little itching over the next few days. No swelling or anything like that, like in the past. And so I put in some ApiGuard earlier. I think it was March, 1st of April. They brought out thousands of drones, males, thousands of them on the ground. Some were still, you can tell, one can tell that they were pulled out of the cells, still alive. And that was about the time I took all the honey. So I took the honey, I put in some ApiGuard, the ApiGuard and no honey left in there, no resources, put them in a high stress. And so their main instinct was to get rid of all the drones who consume lots of resources, lots of sugar, lots of protein. Get rid of all the drones and start looking for lots of more food. And they came to me for that. And once I saw that pattern, they did that twice. They removed drones in two large different time frames, like about 4 days apart, 3 to 4 days apart. Trying to gauge how much food they had left to feed the males that were going to be coming out by the thousands. Because those drones will leave and then come back when they don't mate. They come back in and they have to be fed. And that takes up a lot of resources. And so I also seen my girls just pulling out dudes by the hair, by the wings, legs. Get out of here. Because there wasn't enough resources. I didn't leave them enough to support all those male drones coming back or staying in there. And so there's a big old pile of dead drones over there, and there's still some on the ground. You can see them here. There's still some on the ground there. Mostly dead drones. Yeah. The big guys. You can see them up along, all packed up tight, kind of mixed in with a few leaves. All those little pieces looks like dirt spots. Those are dead drones. Yep. Dead drones. I'll just come out here and I'd sweep them over there. Looks like I need to do that again. And so that's what I'm going to do. Is in spring, I'm going to put ApiGuard, and I'm going to remove their super, so that they remove those drones, because it's the drones that are responsible for most of the spreading of the disease, because that's the varroa mites' favorite place to lay their eggs. And so by bringing that down dramatically, the drones that are in the hive, still in their cocoons, still in their cells, and having my bees bring them out while the larvae, while the eggs and all that are still attached to the male, and the varroa mites are attached to the male, the count's going to go way down in varroa mites, and so is the disease. I have not seen any more DWV last month or so. They actually had that all winter. My bees, they had deformed wing virus all winter. Even though there's no drones, there were still mites all winter, but there was no drones. The virus stayed. But I have not seen any deformed wings in the last month, which is a good sign. That means the varroa mite count is down enough that they were able to eventually control that disease. So far, so good. And this split that I did, today I did an inspection on the observational panel, because this one is also set up with the observational panel and the 1/8-inch hardware cloth that the mice can fall straight through. Today there was only one mite, and there was about 26 mites in the main hive, which is not all that bad really, considering how many bees are in there, because they're also bringing in varroa mites from the outside. Varroa mites are everywhere. They're everywhere. You can't get rid of them. They're here to stay for eternity, as long as eternity's here, for us anyway. So I'm more tentative to the decline of the hive, the size. I'm more attentive to any disease-looking bees. And the fact that this hive just keeps exploding, and I'm not seeing DWV or any other kind of disease-looking bees, I'm just looking at the dudes who've been chucked out of the hive. Get out of here. We can't support you any longer. You should have made it last week. So there you go. That's my day today. Guess I'll hold off and see if I catch a swarm here the next day or two. It's usually pretty quick. Once they start collecting in these hives like they're doing right now, it's usually only a day or two before I catch a swarm. I'll keep you updated. All right. Subscribe. Good day. Do the Margarena.